Hello students, welcome to E-Pathashala. Today I'll be talking to you about fashion portfolio development on the basis of the previous module which I had done earlier. Now fashion is a $1 million business, and to succeed in a career, professional designers need to be efficient and proficient about the industry's needs and preferences. Fashion design portfolios are commercial design samples which help to fetch manufacturers and buyers by means of the design lines and form a direct marketing technique or tool for design people. Fashion is a phase which keeps changing, and contemporary styles and aesthetic values are highly mobile. This needs constant updating and transformation. Today's manufacture is highly dependent on commercial costs and values. Hence, costs and commercials must be clearly defined with great accuracy. Design portfolios cannot stop with design alone, but should also define the technical aspects in the form of textiles, materials, and piecework as exact information, clear specifications, and material identification. When the aesthetics, commercials, and technicalities come as a package to the manufacturer or producer in the form of a fashion portfolio, the designer and his business environment gets connected and many opportunities are opened. It reflects the creativity and capacities of the designer and enables a position in the fashion market with a commendable job or entrepreneurship. Learning objectives. This module is focused to learn about the organization of portfolio development, to learn about the methodology of preparing the different boards or pages in a portfolio, the material selection and techniques including customer profile and requirements. How to market a fashion portfolio. To market a fashion portfolio, there should be high impact designs that have a dazzle effect. Research of the current market trends and the standards of the day should form the basis of all designs with design aspects clearly laid out. Before preparing a portfolio, the audience for which it is designed should be kept in mind, as the best design is required for an adaptable portfolio that can be modified to fit any situation. A graphic design portfolio, whether online or offline, should be to the point and easy to read and navigate. The best work should be kept as the first views because nobody has the time to look into the entire portfolio. The work thus showcased should be convincing and impressive so that it appeals the potential client or the employer, fellow designers and creatives. Thus, market identification is very important, especially for new products and new designers. Successful portfolios are good matches with client markets. A fashion portfolio should be designed in a story format to project a marketing or style image with a forward-thinking message. Samples should be clean and removable, and the sequence does not have to be chronological, but the final image leaves a lasting impression than the first. Learnings about the past and present day portfolios. In the past, designer presentations were much simpler than the portfolios needed to advance in today's global fashion industry. Single figure fashion plates, one page of the fashion illustration that a designer or an illustrator creates were standard projections of the image and style for the designer. Hand-rendered, frozen in time, the sketches stood awaiting the next season's fashions. Some designers use their favorite croquis, which are templates of the fashion figure that can serve as a foundation for an illustration of a design, and they simply would redress it for the next season's ensemble collections. The garment was minimally represented in thumbnail sketches, frayed swatches of fabric, and the designer's original would be created through direct contact with the pattern maker, draper, sample hand, and finally the production team. Today's portfolios incorporate intricate manipulation skills both with hand rendering and computerized drawing. The 2D page can be treated as a multi-layer format, creating dimension, depth and texture that extend beyond a garment collection. It has become a theatrical stage, backdrop or added marketing element that is more in keeping with today's fully loaded sensory media projections. Hired designers get their jobs from these modern portfolios because the book can sell the designer's looks to the interviewer. Today's designers are hired for their ability to communicate with the potential audience, internal corporate merchandisers and selling teams, the retail buyer, and eventually the consumer. The typical portfolio contents. The typical fashion design portfolio should be presented in a portfolio case, which is a formal book or carrying case, typically ring bound, or a box containing individual pages. It can be of leather or vinyl bound, or as a metal box covered with leather or vinyl. Construction can include a zipper closure, open edges, or a lid. It can have a shoulder strap or handle. The standard industry sizes are 8 by 10 inches, 9 by 12 inches, 11 by 14 inches, 14 by 17 inches, or 16 by 20 inches. This attractive container should hold the material that is shown during an interview. An identification label in plain white paper or separate paper or specialty paper approximately 3 3/4 inch into 2 inches size of a business card can be printed with the designer's name, address, phone number and email address. This is affixed to the inside front cover of the portfolio to identify the owner so that it can be returned if it is left with an interviewer or accidentally lost. A few copies of one-page resume with chronological description of one's work, educational experience and other qualifications printed on the business quality paper should be kept in the front sleeve or pocket of a portfolio case to be available to present during interviews. Polypropylene sleeves, thermoplastic substances, may be punched with holes to insert into a ring-bound portfolio, sometimes called acetate or plastic pages, but must be of archival quality. Protects the pages of the portfolio collection from moisture, fading from sunlight, tearing and other causes of damage. It is clear and plastic sleeves that are not designated as archival will allow permanent damage to the artwork by fading, yellowing or lifting illustrations of the page. A fashion portfolio is made of several pages which are explained below. Title page or introduction page may include a designer statement and it can be an introduction to the collection presented and create a brand image or a setting for viewing the contents of the portfolio. The next aspect is the mood or concept pages, which are made up of 1 or 2 pages per collection of images cut and pasted from various sources and or computer generated images that are set to create a mood for the collection or suggest sources of inspiration. A mood board is a summary of the collection's inspiration and theme and works as a design tool to the designer, focused and consistent with the line development. It serves as a communication aid while explaining the designer's visions to the others like retailers, media and design enterprises. It establishes a concept or mood for the collection, giving it a unifying theme or identity. It can be combined with other pages or shown separately. Pages should be all portrait or all landscape in orientation. Magazine cutouts, fabric swatches, old photographs, buttons, ribbons, basically any visual reference can be mounted onto a hardboard. Care should be taken to make it replicate a book of film with a storyline. The next item is the fabric board, which is a presentation of fabrics selected for the collection. Textile presentation pages or fabric board usually has 1 or 2 pages per collection of fabric swatches cleanly mounted on paper and neatly folded. Edges of the swatches may be cut straight or with pinking shears. Usually 1 by 2 inches or 4 by 5 inches rectangles or similarly sized squares are taken. Swatches are usually of uniform size for a collection. Care must be taken to select the right fabric to suit the season, theme, target market and color palette. The weight, thickness and other structural properties of the fabric should also be considered. Fabric pages may be combined with other pages or shown separately. The next item is the flat presentations, which are outlines of the garment designed and show all the different aspects of the garment with the necessary technicalities. Flat drawings are technical drawings of the garments as they would appear if lying flat on the surface rather than being worn. Front and back views are shown. The back view may be 5 to 10% smaller than the front view, drawn to exact proportions of the cut and sewn garment, and the outline may be thicker than the lines showing the stitching details. Typically, they are not shaded, may be hand drawn or computer generated, or a combination. In production, it is used to communicate measurements to the sample makers. In portfolios, it is used to demonstrate the ability to communicate technical information visually for production. The next board is the design development board or the silhouette pages, which represent the outline of the figures with the developed garments. This board presents the collection of the design development of styles of garments related to the theme. This board, which is used to communicate the designer's idea and the target market, can view the complete ensemble on the figure or croquis. Fashion plates, 6 to 8 pages per collection of full or cropped figures can be used, and 1 to 8 figures can be rendered on a page. It can be hand drawn or hand rendered or computer generated or a combination of the two. Presentation of the silhouettes of designs within a collection may be combined with other pages or shown separately. The accessory board or accessory pages is the next item. They outline the accessories and trims that accompany the design portfolio. The accessories that are apt for the styles and enhance the outlook of the design are presented in this board. Photographic boards. They contain photographs of the finished products and show the impact of the designs on the model or mannequin. Lighting and settings for the photo shoot by a professional is very important for the display pictures. The next is the last board, which is the final design or storyboard. It is a summary of the entire collection and consists of the color illustration of the designs on the fashion figures along with the fabric swatches. It is the individual pictorial representation of each and every garment of the collection in color with the technical rendering. Apart from the above, some essentials are to be maintained. The CAD pages, computer generated mood, color, textile, fashion plates and flat drawing pages as separate pages or in combinations are to be given. This demonstrates the designer's skills in CAD programs. Pages should be all portrait or all landscape in orientation, with a few exceptions if necessary to allow for easy viewing by interviewers. The sketchbook is very important. A bound or spiral bound notebook 3 by 5 inch, 8.5 into 11 inches, 11 by 14 inches or 14 by 17 inches with pages showing the rough sketches, doodles, notes, colorings, cutouts and other images in an unorganized format is essential. It is carried with the designer at all times to record his ideas and inspirations. They are taken to interviews in a back cover pocket of the portfolio or carried separately if necessary to demonstrate to the interviewers the designer's thought process and trend tracking skills. Leave behind piece. An optional flash drive, CD-ROM, DVD, or a page printed in full color that serves as a reminder of the designer's style, brand, or identity can be used. This includes the same information as on the identification label in the portfolio case and for electronic leave behinds. Identification information on the covering as well as within the electronic files is required. A condensed presentation of the portfolio images to leave an impression of the designer's work after the interview is over can serve as a reminder of the designer's brand or image. Computer-based presentation. An optional item. This is a flash drive carried in the front or back sleeve of the portfolio case, and it can have PowerPoint presentation shows entire portfolio. It makes the portfolio available for the interviewer to view on his or her computer or share it with his co-workers who may be having a voice in the hiring decision. Let's take a look on the basic approaches for portfolio development. There are 5 basic approaches to create problem solving for portfolio development. The linear process is the first variety. Here, step by step logical sequence, being cautious of not getting ahead of oneself. It is well suited to large complex team projects. The circular process. This starts at any stage and advances to the others in turn. Ideal for lengthy projects like college programs, summer jobs, contracts, etc. Feedback approach. This moves forward while looping behind or back to consider previous discoveries important when caution is imperative. The branching paths. This allows specific events and the interrelation of separate stages to control progress. The natural pathway. Awareness of all stages concurrently, but emphasis on 1 or 2 steps at a time, like viewing 7 open boxes in a row, each one ready to receive additional data, and thereby modifying your overall thinking accordingly. The linear process is compared to a mule train with each unit responsible for pulling the other one behind it, and the natural way to a horse race where all units progress independently while only one unit is out in the front, that is the focus at any given moment. Organization of a portfolio project. With 5 approaches in mind, the designer will be ready to consider the organization of a portfolio project in detail. Handling the necessary pages in an organized manner will pave the way for the development of a fashion portfolio. While developing the required pages, these are the steps which are to be followed. First is the organization. This should have a creative story telling logical flow. The plan of each page should be creative and with powerful impact. Secondly, conceptualize the work with freedom. Content. This can include one's own work, personal drawings, both observation and color studies, photographs, collages, mixed media experiments, fabric studies, written short notes and presentation sheets, anything which highlights the designer's skill and creativity. The next item is the layout, which can be portrait or landscape with lot of focus and without distractions to the viewer. Next comes the creative process. Development of the concept to the final product should be expressed creatively. Editing. Ascertain that only the best work is included in the portfolio and use critical thinking and a design filter. Finalizing. The images and text are to be connected for a good output. A portfolio should showcase individuality, interest and character of the designer, the acquired drawing or the craft techniques using rediscovered or repurposed materials, which is skill, and presentation techniques with the basis from art and design, which is detailing, Proof as sketchbooks to show the resourcefulness through exploration, experimentation, and the development of the concept, articulation of a sustained idea or concept, which is referred to as the creative process. The above steps will be based on previous collection of materials like the idealized final portfolio, the designer grid, and previously developed ongoing work in progress materials, the creative chaos sketchbooks, retail market focus, reporting and illustration, layout and finalization, including evaluation. Presentation of the fashion portfolio. Presentation of the portfolio is as attractive and very important as it helps to inform, educate and motivate the buyers or design enterprises to indulge in new designs and concepts. Images and words have the power to engage the audience and retain their attention. Face-to-face or visual interactions build relationships resulting in many business activities. Theatrical nature of the presentation has great impact and also provides a framework for communication. There are many types of presentation, of which 3 has been included here. Presentation with a hard copy, portfolios, hard copy of portfolios and actual samples are extremely effective and is the old style of presentation but can produce excellent selling. The second one is the online presentations, which can bring the designs to the limelight due to easy access, low budget and high visibility. Creativity and imagination can be used to the fullest. The third option is the mini fashion show for the client, which is simple and an effective method which showcases the designers or designs on live models in a preferred environment. Let me summarize this module. Both the development of digital photography and the growth of fashion websites have raised the profile of fashion imagery across a variety of digital platforms. The emergence of online fashion magazines have extended the reach and accessibility of fashion images. This includes the presentation of drawings and artwork through screen-based rather than print-based platforms. Today, fashion illustrators, designers and scientists are also populating the internet and presenting examples of their work through digital media such as websites, blogs, Flickr, image pages. This is leading to some interesting developments which are beginning to extend the idea of what a fashion portfolio is and what it might look like in the future. The evolving nature of what may be considered as a fashion portfolio in today's rapidly changing digital media age is also considered with a speculative eye on the future of fashion. We have taken a look about the different aspects of portfolio development and hope the budding designers of today get inspired. They take up a theme and start exhibiting the design skills to culminate into an aesthetically strong, commercially detailed and technicalities loaded fashion portfolio for a business market in fashion and production and manufacturing. Hope you enjoy creating your designs and work towards your goal in achieving success and appreciation. Thank you.